Line? Brought to you by Sunbeam, makers of the new Deluxe Sunbeam Automatic Percolator, the Sunbeam Radiant Control Toaster, and the Sunbeam Automatic Coffee Master. Now, let's all play What's My Line?
Now let's meet our award-winning panel of What's My Line. First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in papers coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And now I would like to present a gentleman who is about to appear in Broadway as the star of a show called Big Fish, Little Fish. It's only a week away from Christmas, and he's Arlene France's Christmas present all year round, Martin Gabel.
This being the season for sentiment, on my left, a wonderful actress and a perfect wife, Arlene Francis.
Thank you, dear. And now a gentleman whose Christmas this year will be the merriest Christmas because Random House has proven to be a powerhouse. Mr. Bennett, Cerf.
And now a happy, fortunate gentleman who on Thursday is going to marry one of the loveliest girls in the world and is the toast of everybody from Federalsburg, Maryland to San Francisco, California tonight, Mr. John Charles Daly.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line? As we get into the closer to the Christmas season, I always think more fondly of Bennett and the panel. And so tonight, we're going to be very gentle with the panel. We just got some extra hard occupations for them to try and figure out. We'll also have a famous mystery guest a little bit later in the program, and we'll meet our first challenger after this. And now, let's meet our first challenger. Would you enter and sign in, please? Wendy Wagner, is that right? This is our Christmas present to you. And where is it, Miss or Mrs. Wagner?
Mrs.
Mrs. And where are you from?
Nassau?
Nassau in the Bahamas? Is that where you live?
Yes, that's
Oh,
right.
wonderful. May I present our panel?
Yes.
Some of whom I think go down to that wonderful island of sun and good frolic. And now would you join me over here, please? Tell me, do you know, coming from Nassau, how we keep score on What's My Line?
Yes, I do.
All right, then we'll let the folks in the audience and those who are watching at home know exactly what your line is.
Oh, my.
All right, panel. We can tell you that Mrs. Wagner is salaried and deals in a service, and I think we ought to begin the general questioning with Random House's random, raucous, righteous,
Resilient.
Go on.
resilient,
Rambunctious.
rambunctious, reliterate Bennett Cerf. Thank you very much, Mr. Dillon.
Raconteur.
Can we go on now?
Yeah.
Yes. Mrs. Wagner, may I ask if the service that you perform has anything to do with the many tourists that visit Nassau in the course of the year?
No.
1 down and 9 to go, and Bennett, you're just cracking good at this sort of thing. Miss Kilgallen?
Mrs. Wagner, do your services have anything to do with entertainment or amusement? Yes. Have you ever purveyed them outside of Nassau? Yes. Have you ever been connected with the cinema? Yes. Have you ever been a stand-in for a star? No.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Gabel.
Mrs. Wagner, is there anything athletic about what you do?
Yes.
Nassau is a beautiful resort for sun and the sea. Is there anything relating to the sea in terms of the athletic things that you do?
Yes.
Has it anything to do with swimming?
Yes.
Are you a swimming champion?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Do you have anything to do with skin diving?
Yes.
Is that what you do, skin dive?
Yes.
Love to be there.
I don't know really where to go from there, John.
Well,
what shall I
actually,
find out?
It is, I would say this, that you have determined the fundamental line, which is Mrs. Wagner's, but she has a particular identification which I think would be of interest to all of you in a particular way. See if you can figure out how she uses skin diving, particularly as a means of making a livelihood.
Does she train people in skin diving and take them beneath the sea and show them what's going on with the flora and fauna?
No.
That's 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mrs. Wagner, are you one of those hopeful people who try to find buried treasure down under the sea?
No.
That makes it 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Now, Mrs. Wagner, you have said that you have been connected with the cinema. Yes. Have you ever done any skin diving before the camera? Yes. Have you done it in a sort of substitute way rather than as yourself? Have you been the skin diving alter ego of a famous person? Yes.
I think that's it. I'm going to throw the cards over and congratulate you. And you are to be congratulated. You'll be congratulated, because this was a tough one. Mrs. Wagner is what we call her a stunt skin diver, Dorothy, which is what you were really defining.
She stands in for Lloyd Bridges?
Is it really? No. No, and actually what
you're a
happened...
different shape, I can see that.
Much better, much better.
Now, Mrs. Wagner works for Ziv Productions, and Ziv Productions, as a great many people know because of television, produces 2 skin diving programs. I believe one is the Aquanauts and the other one is... Sea Hunt. Sea Hunt. Right. And it's in these 2 television programs that Mrs. Wagner does the stunt skin diving for the women leads in the pictures. And I must say that this has been a great occupation and good fun, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and...
Thank you. The same to you.
And I'll take up skin diving. Thank you very much. Nice to have you with us. A formidable panel, that is. Now let's see what you can do with the second challenger, though. Will you enter and sign in, please? Boots. Gator. Gator. Is it Miss or Mrs.?
Mrs.
Mrs. Gator, and where are you from?
Well, originally I'm from West Virginia, but I live in Newark now.
You live in Newark now?
Irvington, Newark, New Jersey.
Irvington, Newark, New Jersey. May I present the panel? Mrs. Gator, will you join me here, please? You know how we keep score, Mrs. Gator?
Yes, I do.
All right, then we'll let the audience here and the audience watching at home know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, Mrs. Gator is salaried and deals in a product. And let's begin the general questioning with Martin Gabel.
Mrs. Gator, could I use your product?
Yes, you could.
Could I use it more because I'm a man than if I were a lady?
No, it doesn't make any difference.
1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis. Sorry, I got a cold.
Is it a product that we'd have in the home?
Well, you could have it in the home if you could get it, yes.
Is it a product that has been or is alive?
Well, it's alive, all right.
No, I think, with your permission, Mrs. Gator, by our terms of reference, we would not describe it as a product that is. Miss Francis was speaking of animals and things like that. It's 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Well, this is very confusing. When you said then, Mrs. Gator, that it was alive, you just meant that it was a live product, that it had nothing to do with the fact that the product at any time had actually breathed and been living. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the term live simply meant that it was a lively item. Is that what you...
That's it, a big seller.
Big seller?
Yes, that's what I meant, really.
Yes, ma'am. Is this product, in the absence of Steve Allen, bigger than a bread box?
No.
No, that's 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Is this product anything I could hold in my hands?
Yes, you can hold in your hand.
If I could get it.
You could get, yeah.
Knowing women, as I'm sure you do you think I'd like to get it?
I think you would, yeah.
If I got it, would I wear it where it could show?
No. 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Gabel.
Is it decorative rather than useful?
No.
5 down and 5 to go, Miss Francis.
Is this a product that if I were able to, I might have it in my pocket or my bag?
Yes, you could.
What?
Mrs. Gator said you could, but it would stick out. So we'll have to give you a no on that. 6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mrs. Gator, is this product very valuable?
What is your term, very valuable? Give us a dollar value.
Gold, platinum, silver.
Oh, you mean made of a rare metal, but would you give it a dollar value, too, just to help us out?
You going to give me a no, John?
Anyway, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
7 down and 3 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Did we get a dollar value, John?
No, we didn't. Bennett didn't want to volunteer, but he got the gold and the platinum bit, though.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't show. I don't see how it can be such a lively seller if it's hard to find. Could we have a clarification on that?
Well, actually, we did not, I believe, ever declare that it was hard to find.
She keeps saying if you can find it. I have it written down here.
Well, but this would suggest the lively character of
Oh, you
the
mean it
public
just
desire
rushes off
to...
the shelves?
That's it.
And you could use it,
But you wouldn't bet that I couldn't find it tomorrow if I went shopping, would you?
Oh, you could find it if
There is
you
no
would
gambling
not
allowed on television programs, please. FCC Regulation 6752W1.
No, but don't you see, John, this is very important to us because we're going to be seeking some rare thing. It's going to be something you can get
No,
for
well, don't do
$2.
that, because it's been described to you in Mrs. Gator's terms as a lively item. Ergo, it is so popular with the public that it's likely to disappear from the showcase almost as soon as it arrives. But if you were determined to find one, I'm quite sure that by traversing New York City a few times back and forth and going in all the stores, you could.
Life of Dr. Kinsey or something like that.
Is this solid rather than liquid?
Yeah, this is solid,
Yes.
Rosamond.
Is it something that likely would not be folded?
You can fold it, no.
That's good. And it sticks out. Is it long and slender rather than chubby?
It's long and slender, yeah.
It's a fairy wand.
A fairy wand.
I'm only being funny.
No, 8 down and 2 to go, Mr. Gator.
John, I wasn't really asking a question. Okay.
Have we established, is it edible?
No, that's 9 down and 1 to go, Miss Francis.
Would one be particularly interested in this at this time of year?
Yes, actually, because of this particular season, I can see where a high degree of interest would be generated by the need we all have to find new gifts and such, you know, to give away at Christmas time.
Has it anything to do with money?
No. That's 10 down and no one.
I thought it was
This was
mistletoe.
fun. Mrs. Gator makes electric back scratchers. What is it, the Daymar?
Daymar product. from
Daymar
New
product,
Jersey.
and this is a back scratcher, and it works from a battery, does it not? And you just sit and you turn the battery on and you go, "Kah."
In case you haven't got any fingernails, you know, it's good.
In case your husband doesn't have any fingernails, it's good. And thank you very much, Mrs. Gator. You've been a lucky guest for one. We'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first, here is a word from our sponsor. And now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery celebrity, for which, over all these long 10 years plus, as you well know, our panel is always blindfolded. Are those blindfolds all in place, panel?
They are.
Good. Will you enter mystery challenger and sign in, please? Panel, as you know, in the case of our mystery guest, we go to a different form of questioning, one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise, and let's begin with Arlene Francis.
Would one find your name in the theatrical section of the paper rather than the sports section?
Yes, it is a good thought you have there.
Mr. Cerf?
Are you at present appearing in either a play, nightclub, or motion picture in the metropolitan area?
Well, that would depend just exactly how you'd be looking at it, my buckaroo. I think pleasant, sometimes unpleasant, you know. In our profession, we have to adapt ourselves to most anything.
There you are,
Parts
Bennett.
are parts and actors are actors, you know.
Miss Kilgallen?
Is that a yes or a no?
Well, that's a very good question.
Well, is he... Yes, could we have a clarification?
Well, I would say there that the suggestion is that specifically the question was asked, are you appearing now on Broadway in a major cinema or stage presentation? Is that correct?
At the moment, I'm not.
That's
Well,
the
Bennett
one
didn't
down
mean-
and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
John, you realize Bennett didn't mean tonight because it's Sunday.
Quite here. The
No, but just in terms
Currently.
of reference now, rather than just Sunday.
Were you in any place on Vanderbilt Avenue last night?
So what was that?
Were you in any place on Vanderbilt Avenue last night?
No, I couldn't. My salary wouldn't be able to afford anything like that.
2 down, a day to go, Mr. Gabel.
John,
Yes, sir?
as one short actor, it is my impression that I would always know the greatest of short actors. This must be Edward G. Robinson.
You're right. And Bennett, to clear up the fight, if there is to be one, let's clear it up first. Actually, Mr. Robinson is one of the stars, as you know, in Pee-Pee, which is opening on Wednesday. It is not open yet. Ergo,
Yeah,
I
we
could
call
say
it
no.
Peppy, you
Peppy,
know.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I messed that up.
That's
Yes,
fair
sir.
enough, but-
Yes. A little better, you know. We'll have to clean it up. Incidentally, I'm here for that opening.
Yes, my dear?
Would you like me to change the subject?
I sure would.
I didn't know
I would like to point out that the place that I referred to on Vanderbilt Avenue was just a place where a party was held for a charity, and I wanted to rule out some of the celebrities who were there. But I would also like to say that on the same evening, Mr. Robinson, who is pleading poverty, him with his art collection, was in Morocco.
Mr. Robinson, who's pleading poverty, him with his art collection.
Oh, yes.
Them
We
paintings
were
of
in El
yours.
Morocco last night.
I know, but
weren't
it's the
you?
character that I was assuming at the moment. I couldn't afford to be on that.
Yes. He had an Irish brogue, you know.
Yeah.
And after all, the paintings of the Irishman.
Yeah.
Would have a smile there, you know.
You open in Peppy this week?
Wednesday.
Coming week?
On Tuesday.
And there are-
Tuesday, yes, Tuesday evening. I don't know. That's the
There are
time.
only
But we're
about
going for
60
the
other
opening.
stars, aren't there?
I beg pardon?
How many are there? 60 stars? or
Oh,
something?
60 stars. I happen to be one of them. Perhaps if there hadn't been that
Well,
many, I might not have been one of them.
Actually,
But it's
Ed,
a very
all
gay and
the
a very
great...
happy picture.
Is this not a fair statement that in Pepe are many of the men with whom you came to great famous, and Bing Crosby in it?
That's
and,
right. That's
and
right.
who's some of the other
Well,
folks that
there's
you...
Frank Sinatra.
Frank
there's,
Sinatra.
well, almost anybody that
Yeah.
you can mention. Janet Leigh and
of course,
Kim
Captain
Novak.
Platt.
It goes on and on. It's the roster of so many of the Hollywood stars out there.
And I might say, in line of the season, tomorrow night he's going to be busy, too. You're going to be at Madison Square Garden with a
at
Hanukkah
the,
festival.
Yes,
aren't you?
at the Hanukkah festival.
No, I say Chanukah, you say Hanukkah. This is something that it took me a lot of time. I used to read the papers and say, gee, I must go see one of those Chanukah festivals one of these days. And my good friends would be saying, well, Hanukkah's coming up. And I'd say, yeah, that's wonderful, that Hanukkah. Well, that Chanukah's great stuff, too. And I finally found out it was one and the same thing.
But it's Hanukkah.
May we
Hanukkah
thank
festival.
you for
Thank you.
coming to see us on Sunday night when you've got such a busy
And
week ahead, too.
congratulations, may I offer
Thank
to
you,
you on your up-and-coming marriage.
Thank you very
wonderful
much.
girl to a great man.
Thank you. have another contestant after this word from our alternate sponsor. And now let's meet another contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Right there. Edmund T. Opielski, right? Mr. Opielski, where are you from?
Villanova, Pennsylvania.
Villanova, Pennsylvania.
That's right.
Nice to have you with us. May I present the panel? And would you join me over here? And you know how we keep score?
Yes, I do.
Good. We let the folks in the theater and those watching at home know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, we can tell you that Mr. Opielski is salaried and he deals in a product. And we'll start the general questioning with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Because I've done so well.
Yes. You have done very well. You've made a lot of laughter and good fun tonight.
Mr. Opielski, is your product something that I might have in my home?
No.
1 down and 9 to go,
See what
Mr.
I mean?
Gabel.
I was born and raised in your part of the country, Mr. Opielski. Is what you do something that's more apt to be done near Philadelphia than sort of any other place?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Francis.
Is the product something that would be found out of doors?
Yes.
Would it be found on the land as opposed to in the sea?
Yes.
It would?
Yes.
Is it anything that grows?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Opielski, do you work for a profit-making organization?
Yes, I do.
Is the profit made partly, at least, out of this product that you work on?
Yes.
Is it a manufactured product?
Yes, it is.
Is it manufactured in a factory?
Yes.
Is it made by a company that is large enough to possibly be listed on one of the exchanges?
Yes.
You're looking dubious.
No,
John.
listen, Dr. Dubious went home last week. Mr. Opielski's the one who knows this.
Would this product
Good evening, Dr. Dubious.
possibly have anything to do with either the electrical or the amusement industries?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Would this product ever be used, I withdraw that, is this product wholly or partially of metal?
Yes.
Could it be used in the construction of anything?
Yes, it could.
Is it in fact used in the construction of anything?
I think with your permission, we will say you must be a little bit careful as to the exact meaning that you're going to give to this answer. We will give you a yes to that answer, but you could misconstrue the answer.
Mm-hmm. The particular product that you are involved with can be used without being used in construction? You know what I mean? It can be used by itself?
This is what we meant to convey, that it is an elemental part of construction.
That's what I meant to convey,
if it is
too.
used in construction, Mr. Gabel.
It's an elemental part of construction, but is not used in construction.
No, when it is used in construction. In other words, if you are going to use it, it would be an integral part of what you were constructing. Is that a fair statement, Mr. Opielski?
Yes.
But by implication, at least, it is our friend's product is not used in the construction business.
Well, that's what I gotta know.
Well, now, this is the thing I was trying to tell Dorothy. You must not misconstrue the answer. It is involved in construction, but it's not necessarily a tool of construction. Does that answer it?
I'm sure it does, John, because you've made a very sincere effort to be clear. I realize that. It's just that in the muddy mush of what I call my mind, I'm a little murky.
Well, I'm sorry, Martin. I have to throw the cards. We've run out of time tonight. And this is one which was a real tough one. Actually, Mr. Opielski sells church steeples. They're made by the Overly Manufacturing Company. Church steeples. And you can get a nice one, was it 8 feet to 60 feet? Anything from 900 to 29,000, chaps, for Christmas. Awfully good, you know. Mr. Opielski, thank you very much for being our guest. It was nice to have you. And I think we had a lot of fun tonight, and I would like to say good night, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Good night and happy wedding bells, John.
Thank you.
Good night, Martin.
Good night, Dorothy, and John, the very best.
Thank you.
Ditto, John. And to Virginia. And good night. And happiness to you, too, Bennett. What the heck?
You know, Virginia's too good for you, don't you?
This I quite agree to, absolutely. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us on What's My Line?
What's My Line is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Goodson and Bill Todman.